On Monday, the 25th of April 2022, just before 8:13 a.m, Walter Gray places a call to 911 in Green Bay, Wisconsin. He passes the phone to his 6-year-old child, who then reports the murder of his mother, and the operator hears the suicide of his father, a 6-year-old child. When police would arrive, they would find 2 adults, Missy Lemerond and Walter Gray, deceased by gunshot wounds, and a 6-year-old and 2-year-old unharmed in the home. This is the case of Missy Lemerond. In this series, we will learn what happened in the lead up to the crime and learn from her family members about the aftermath of the murder. In this video, I will share a timeline of events. Whilst editing this series, new information was discovered through police records. You will hear Missy's mother's reaction to the new facts of the case and how the 2 boys are doing now. This is Behind the Crime. To tell Missy's story, we need to go back to 2005 when Missy was 15 and her father was murdered. In September of 2005, Scott, Missy's father, was at his best friend's house for a party when they began to fight. His best friend, Todd Charles, alleges that Scott tried to insult Todd in front of his girlfriend, and that's when he stabbed Scott with a grilling fork, once through the heart. Todd Charles was convicted of first-degree reckless homicide. This had a big impact on Missy and her family. No one would know that decades later, murder would rock their lives again. Despite the tragedy, Missy went on to do well at school, graduating with high honours. She would graduate from Stout University with a Bachelor's of Sociology. She used her professional life to help others as a resident counsellor at several colleges. In 2009, Missy met Walter Gray. This is when she alleges, in court documents, her 13-year cycle of abuse would begin. During much of this time, Missy didn't confide in her family about the situation in her home with Walter. In 2014, Missy and Walter got married. They would then have Emmett, who was 6 at the time of the murder, and Avante, who was 2. About 18 months before the murder-suicide, Missy begins to open up to her mother about the abuse she is suffering at the hands of Walter. There were several instances when Missy would leave Walter, but always return to him. This is common in domestic violence relationships. In early 2022, Missy leaves Walter again. She tells family that Walter was calling or messaging Missy upwards of 40 times a day. She also mentions Walter showing up in public places she was, especially after posting on social media her location. In February 2022, Missy alleges they go to a couples therapist to learn how to co-parent. On the 16th of March, Missy tells Walter she wants to legally separate. Walter threatens to self-harm. Walter walks into a river, not knowing how to swim. Once he was rescued, he called Missy to tell her he wanted to work things out. Missy refused. He was admitted to the Brown County Psych, and within 24 hours of being admitted, he was released. Whilst Missy is the one to tell Walter that she wants to legally separate, Walter is the first to file on the 18th of March. On the same day, Missy files a harassment restraining order, annulment legal separation, and a petition to have Walter's firearms removed. The same day, a temporary restraining order is granted. In Missy's statement to the court, she detailed incidents that describe Walter having coercive control over Missy. She recalls him not allowing her to see loved ones or have friends, not allowing her to work or to go to school, demanding she have sex with him and saying, "You're my wife, I deserve to be intimate with you." Missy alleges she calls the police to detail these events several times, but there were no legal repercussions because of her reporting. On April 1st, the courts denied the restraining order and her temporary one has elapsed. Missy was left without protections from the court and police. Due to the escalation of Walter's behaviour and on the encouragement of family, Missy and the boys move into a women's shelter for a month for their own safety. On April 6th, Walter uploads a music video to his YouTube channel. The song is titled "Wherever You Go." The lyrics and music video are very clearly discussing the breakup of Missy and Walter. Lyrics say, "Marco Polo, don't know where you're at, but I'm looking for sure." Not only are the lyrics concerning, but in the music video you can see a Missy lookalike being used. Missy was very upset about the video after seeing it and wanted it removed from YouTube. It is clear Walter's obsession with Missy has escalated. Missy decides to go back home and is given cameras to put around her home for protection. This is just 1 week before the murder. Missy's family weren't aware of it, but Missy is really concerned about Walter showing up at her home. She places letters in all of her neighbours' letterboxes. She wanted her neighbours to call 911 if any of them saw him in the area. On April 25th, 2022, Missy is getting the boys ready for school and opens the door to take items to the car. The information we have gathered is from the police reports and from 6-year-old Emmett recalling the events. It is believed that Walter forces his way inside. There is a struggle and Missy pushes Walter into the TV. After that, Walter shoots her in front of their 2 children. Walter shoots Missy twice whilst behind her, once in the shoulder and once in the back of the head at close range. He couldn't even look at her when he was taking her life. Missy screams after she is shot. Walter then calls 911 and gives the address to the operator. He then hands the phone to Emmett. During the call, the dispatcher hears a pop sound and Emmett reports that his dad has killed himself. Walter shoots himself once in the head. Emmett recalls seeing his father's brains on the wall. Poor sweet Emmett. Emmett, 6, and Avante, 2, are now left in the home alone with both of their deceased parents, waiting on police officers to come and find them. Police speed to the home and the boys are taken to a nearby facility to be reunited with their grandmother. All the while, little Emmett is recalling the events that just took place. Walter has taken away Emmett's father, mother, and his childhood innocence in one vile act. In the next video, we hear from Cindy, Missy's mum. She will share with us the lead up to Missy's murder, the phone call that changed her life, and what life is like now raising her grandchildren after this tragedy. I have left a link to Missy's memorial Facebook group in the description of the video. The group has been set up to share Missy's story and to try and raise awareness of domestic violence. If you or anyone you know is suffering from DV, there is help out there. Please check the description of this video for more information. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you're notified of when the next video is released. Until next time, bye for now.